Hey guys, Dixie here. Welcome back. I am going to do the first in a series, which I don't really have series on my channel except for my time capsule book haul, I guess I would call it. But there was only 2 parts. This series will have a bunch of parts, and it is going to be me rereading books that I enjoyed in the past. And that can be from childhood, teen years, young adult, my 20s, like I talk about forever on this channel. And today's selection is Sex, Drugs, and Cocoa Puffs, a Low Culture Manifesto, which was published by Chuck Klosterman, is how you pronounce his name, not Klosterman. I always get it wrong. And that was published in 2003. I think I read it around that time, maybe a couple years after it came out. I brought it up in the time capsule haul, actually, because I had another one of his books, which was Fargo Rock City, that I had kept all these years. So that was in storage. And then when I showed that book, I recommended that you start maybe reading with this book. This is kind of his most famous book that I'm aware of. So I suggested that, and I thought I better reread it in case it doesn't hold up and I gave bad advice or led you astray. Not that I'm like some big influencer or anything like that, but I just wanted to kind of refresh myself what it was about and kind of the tone and the time, and let me just say it was very of the time. So to start, I will go into a little bit of background on Chuck because I think it's imperative to understand when he was writing, where he came from. He was born in Minnesota, but he grew up in North Dakota. And he's written so far 13 books. The last one that he wrote, let me check, I have a little note here, came out this January, actually, and it was just titled Football, I believe. Of course, I made all these notes now. I can't read them, guys. But yeah, that's kind of his take on television and viewership and fanship and things like that. And then I think it was 2022 or so, he wrote a book called The 90s, which is trends in pop culture of that time, which is something I might actually pick up, even though you'll see how I feel about this. In the early 2000s, I think around 2001 or 2 to 2006 or 7, he was a big part of Spin Magazine, which, if you're not familiar, Spin Magazine was a competitor, like a lesser known competitor to Rolling Stone magazine, and it was a big part of the cultural zeitgeist. And so he had this kind of snappy, witty tone. In the beginning of his career, he did write for them. He also wrote for Esquire. He wrote for the Washington Post. He wrote for the Guardian. He wrote for New York Times Magazine. And he initially, like I mentioned, he was at Spin, so he was more of a rock writer. But then he transitioned into being more of a sports writer, like sports and culture. And I've read, I believe, just 3 of his books. So the one I'm going to talk about today, I read Killing Yourself to Live, which is a mostly true story about rock music and mortality and love and all of this. And then I also read Fargo Rock City, which is a heavy metal odyssey in rural North Dakota. And those came out in 2005 and 2001. So mostly I read books from that era. So I don't know if I recommend him now. I'm sure he's grown as a writer, but let me tell you, I wasn't too happy with my reread of Sex, Drugs, and Cocoa Puffs. We'll get into it. So the book is basically a collection of pop culture essays in kind of a navel-gazing tone. He likened himself to like a Woody Allen of his time. We'll get into that. I keep saying we'll get into it. We're going to get into it. And, a lot of these essays were just kind of honestly, stupid shower thought kind of things, where he wrote a whole essay about Marilyn Monroe and how a lot of people wanted to compare Pam Anderson as the Marilyn Monroe of the 90s, and how he thought that was so ridiculous. And she was more of a sex symbol, and it was just this like on and on. Like he was on a debate team arguing a side. Another essay in this, he talks about the real world, which was a big deal back then, and how much he knew about it, how much he loved it, and how much it was part of his life. He talked about Saved by the Bell, and how a certain generation of Gen X, so like a certain little time period of Gen X, and what they thought of Saved by the Bell. And I'm not part of that. Believe it or not, I'm actually a little younger than that. I may not look it in my business shirt, but I am. I only have one quote actually from the book. So in the Saved by the Bell section, this is literally a quote. Saved by the Bell isn't real, but neither is most of reality. A lot of it's this like pseudo-intellectual drivel. The tone is just something else, you know. And then he wrote an essay about the Celtics and some other team, and well, if you're a Celtics fan, this is how you live, and if you're this team's fan, this is how you live. And it was just really generalized and kind of just drunk bullshitty talk, if I'm honest. And then he had another section, and I listened to this on audio. I was zoning in and out, guys. It was really hard to pay attention. He did read the audio himself, so you really got the tone of the book. So that's where I get kind of annoyed with him. He wrote a section, and I zoned out a little bit, so I don't remember the beginning of it. But it was a series of just stupid riddle-like questions. Like, you're in a movie theater and your mom, and you have a feeling that your mom dies. Like, what do? Like, do you stay and watch the rest of the movie, or do you leave and see if she's dead? Or this one was crazy. I wrote it down. You need to kick your friend in the ribs to save his life. He's napping next to you. But you can't tell him why you kicked him, or he'll die. What will you do? Like, what story will you make up if he wakes up and asks why you kicked him? Who cares? I think I'm too sober for this. Like, who cares? So that's kind of a little bit of an overview of how I felt about it. But he does describe himself as an all-nonsense guy, which I thought was cool. Like, he's self-aware that he is just kind of insufferable. He even in this book talks about how he's grateful for Woody Allen paving the way for nerdy intellectual guys so that he can maybe find a girl to screw him. And he does talk about women in this book that he dated, and pretty much only in the context of how he was two-timing women. So that's fun. I won't get into every essay of the book, but that's a sampling for you. It's honestly a lot of like, how clever can I be, to the point of it being kind of nauseating. And the best description of this book and his writing, and basically him as a person, was written by this chick on Goodreads. Her name is Allegria. I don't know her, but I thought this was absolutely hilarious. I'll post it here and I'll read it for you. I know I'm supposed to be won over by Chuck Klosterman's supposedly keen and cutting insight into pop culture, and therefore the modern human experience. But I really just felt like I was at a really dull party and cornered by some annoyingly pseudo-intellectual guy whose sole enjoyment is to contradict and mock anything anyone says just to hear himself talk. And honestly, I could have just put that quote up here for my review. That's exactly how I felt. And what's so crazy about this reread is that I remember when I read it, I honestly would have gave it like a 5-star. I was mind blown. And I think it was a tone of the times. I think it was just that I am outgrowing that phase, that era, that intellectual BS. And so I came on here to review, even though I could have just used Allegria's review as my own, but I came on here to confess that I probably shouldn't have recommended it to you guys to read this. I would be very interested to see if you guys feel the same way I do about this book. And if you don't, that is cool. And I hope I haven't pissed you off. I love when people have different opinions, and I'd like to hear why you did like it. So please don't shy away from that. I just didn't like it. I really didn't. But what was interesting to me is I just started this reread series. Occasionally I reread books that I love, but I don't do it regularly. And so I'm actually really excited about this because I was so shocked how this book did not hold up. Most books I reread, I really love. So please let me know in the comments if you've had the same experience where you reread something and you absolutely hate it. Let me know if you don't ever reread books. I want to hear the thought behind that, because I think that's an interesting insight as well. Maybe I should have not reread this. And, you know, that's really all I have to say about it. I just was kind of flabbergasted by how much I disliked it, and it was honestly like a torture to read. And I wonder if part of that was his grating nerdy voice in my ears. But I thought I'd give you the honest review. That's why I'm here. And I filmed what I was gonna put out as a short. I'll probably put it out as a short if it's not at the end of this video. One of my favorite free libraries, I always say it wrong, please give me grace. It's a few towns away, and I was over that way, and it had been taken down. Just the post was left. And I thought, oh no, it's gone. And it was gone, and it was gone, and now it's been several months, and it's been gone. And today I was over in that town. I drove by, and there it was, brand new. It had shingles on it. It was really well made. And so I tried to do a little video, but there were people in the neighborhood, and so I was kind of whispering. I can't tell if it's like ASMR or just creepy, but I think I'm going to post it as a short just for the fun of it. And so if you get to the end of this video and you hear me saying that, keep an eye out in the next couple weeks. I think I'm going to post it, and just let me know if you think it's creepy or not. I don't know how to do shorts, I'm going to be honest. So this is just kind of a little exploration I'm doing into shorts. So if you want to laugh or be creeped out, look for that. In the meantime, I hope you guys are having a better experience reading than I am. I'm in a huge slump, and I really want to claw my way out of it. So until next time, keep reading.